So let's talk about trying to grow a community. If you're like us, we're not just trying to have a presence on social media, we're really trying to have our own online community. And those are two totally different things. So let's dive into that.
Yeah, so a community, I think there's certain elements that are comprised of a community. I think they're like-minded, right? So, we're going to attract people that probably have the same interest as us. Once we get them there, I think the idea is you have to give them value, right? So if you're building a community, why would they join? Why do you join any other community or any other organization and become a part of it? Because it's doing something to add value to your day-to-day life, whether it's teaching you, whether it's putting you with like-minded individuals, whether you're there for support and help. They say it takes a village to raise a child. The same thing is, it takes a community sometimes to build a community, to really spread the word the way you need to, just because who better to spread the word about a good business than one of the members that are actually in the community, actually participating in it and are a part of it. They're feeling it. They're understanding what they're getting. And so building a community has so many benefits, not just for your near-term business, but for your long-term business. It takes care of the long tail of the business. You're not just looking at it, how much money can I make today? You can't really build a good community if you're always digging in their pocket. You got to be giving people value, showing them how to live a better life, perform the function a little bit better. And then I think the community will ultimately take care of itself at that point.
I think a question you need to ask yourself is, why do you join communities? And we were talking about this. It's because there's trust there. Yep. You're getting something out of it. And it's almost like when you think about the communities that you're a part of, you're a fan of whatever that value is, whatever that moral is, whatever their premise is of having that community. So I think that's really important to ask yourself when you're trying to create your own, and therefore you know what to give your audience.
Yeah, and it takes time,
Yeah, this is something you can't cheat.
No.
A lot of people say, we want to grow on social media, which we do too. You want that presence, but that's not something that you can really fast track. You could buy followers, but it's pretty evident if you don't have a community. So
yeah, I think that's one of the things we were talking about, the difference between having, a big influence or a lot of followers versus having a community. And I think it's that engagement of being able to communicate back and forth. Mm-hmm. So what are some key elements that you could do to try to grow your community, to actually have that? And I think Shannon kind of hit it too. It's like you almost have to take a step back. A lot of businesses don't even look at it like that. They think of it as almost something separate. But take a step back and think about the communities that you're involved in and why you're involved in them, and then try to create that kind of atmosphere that people would need, the value that you can provide to them as establishing a community.
When you go and join, it's interesting when you join one of these Facebook communities, man, some of these communities are vibrant, dude. If you look at Jasper's Facebook community, they did such a great job. It almost reminded us of the crypto space.
This is how you know when it's a community. I pay attention to the Instagram growth coaches. As soon as a new update comes out, or if something happens in the social media world, those that person's followers are waiting for them to post. That's a community. Yep. They're waiting to hear what that person has to say.
That's right.
That's not just about them posting stuff every day just to get new followers, but it's they're engaging, and those followers feel like it's a one-on-one connection, it's a direct connection with that person. And that just goes along with personality, engagement, and providing value at the end of the day. So,
yeah. Think about this. You have a big community. If you want to, the benefits of having a big community are so immense. Just because new features of your product, you don't have to guess anymore. Once you start to build a community, your community will tell you, kind of help direct the roadmap of your company, just because you have this engaged people that are willing to, you're being truthful with them, you're providing value, they're willing to give you honest feedback too. So it's a really big part, even of product development, new features that you want to put in your product. Building a strong, vibrant, engaged community has so many benefits that it's amazing. It's hard to do, and you got to do it one brick at a time. But man, once you start to get some traction, dude, the momentum is amazing.
I think a good example, think about this. There's a page with 4,500 followers, and they have tons of comments all the time. They're always interacting with their people, updating lives and stories, and it's a everyday back and I don't even know what, two-way communication, I guess. Versus a page with 200,000 followers, doesn't post as frequently. That engagement is not there. So when it comes to if you're going to go sell a product, which one would you rather have? The page with less followers, but it's, so I think it's just like thinking about what you want and what you need. But that's just the difference between having a following and a community.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that too, as far as listening to the feedback of what your consumers are giving. People in that community, if you're providing them real live communication, like one-to-one communication with them, then they feel like they're a part of it and not basically on the outside looking in. Yeah. And some of the things, as far as like if you're a business trying to create this community, one of the things that's really easy and free to do that you can always do is respond to any feedback, any messages that come in. Be aware, try to respond to them with real answers, not robot stuff, but really feel them. And then, having like live question and answer sessions. I mean, those are things that I think we're going to try to start doing, but those work really, really well because they allow you to establish your personality, kind of communicate back and forth. You can actually get the feed of their personality too, based off the questions and the response that they're giving. So I think those are really great ways to establish a community. It's almost like it becomes a little bit of family.
Here's the last tip, I guess, I've noticed and seen from people who have really great communities. If you're responding to comments, comment back with that person's name. Yeah. Like, hey, Casey, thanks so much for your feedback. This is how we did this. Or, hey, Tommy, yep, this is blah, 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 blah. Just by having that small little thing, by stating their name, they feel heard. So
this is what I was going to say. In the communities, it's how many businesses that you spend money with do you get to talk to the team? Yeah. And that's one of the things that seems to be a really great thing is when, the users get to talk to the people who actually are building the product, dude. That goes a long way.
And I see this too, like, don't worry so much about every post having to have that high engagement and high reach, because we post like our Meet the Teams, and at the end of the day, that is really important to have. Yeah. It's just like you said, they're seeing the people who are building it. Yeah. Those posts might not get as much of a reach, but it's so important to lay down that groundwork.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.